the youth account for 61% of unemployment in Kenya right now. This is a staggering figure, but in fact we have been seeing these kind of figures on a global level. Tell us in specific what is happening in Kenya. Are we not seeing government doing enough, firstly, to educate and create enough skills training for the youth so that they are then absorbed into the jobs market?
Thank you, Samantha. Indeed, as you have said rightly, the youth in Kenya amount to basically 62% of the unemployed people in Kenya. And of course, as you are aware, the issue of youth unemployment and just unemployment in general is a key issue not just in Kenya but even in Africa and beyond. And the government has tried, of course, as you are aware, this is a huge challenge, it's a huge responsibility. But in its own very small way, I can say for now, the government established this institution called the Youth Enterprise Development Fund to be able to address these issues. And through this program, it has now been in existence for slightly over 4 years. We have been able, as an institution, to mainstream young people to basically focus on entrepreneurship as opposed to just waiting for jobs to be employed in other institutions. For example, out of our 6 objectives or mandates as an institution, we have been able to train young people because, as you are aware, it's also a culture issue, not just in Kenya, but in other parts of Africa, that entrepreneurship may not necessarily be a culture within our societies. Yeah. And so our key mandate has been also to create the culture of entrepreneurship. We have been able to reach over 100,000 youth enterprises within a span of 4 years. And these people have been taken through from the very basic level of training to specialized training to be able to allow them, enable them understand that they can be able to create wealth and make money out of their own self-employment initiatives.
Well, Mwatata, I mean, one of the big issues, I mean, we've got 2.5 million unemployed youth at this point. According to reports, barely 125,000 are absorbed annually into formal employment. This number could rise. The unemployment figure for youth could rise to 14 million over the next 7 years. You're talking about 100,000 youth enterprises being targeted. What kind of impact are you having on the ground? How many youths do you actually impact on a weekly, on a monthly, on a yearly basis?
Very well. Indeed, as I said earlier on, the magnitude of the numbers that we are targeting is quite huge and enormous. We are talking of just 4 years as a government institution. Of course, I said 100,000 youth enterprises, and these are mainly run by groups. And assume that every group has 10 people, then you can be able to determine directly how many youths we have been able to employ. But over and above, just we as an institution, we have also partnered with financial institutions in the private sector who are equally helping us in creating jobs. Generally, or in total, within the span of 4 years, we have been able to employ directly over 300,000 young people through our initiatives. But of course, looking ahead, as we appreciate that this indeed is a big problem, we have continued to request, not only through government, but through our other partners in private sector and in the development, in the developed world, to be able to come on board and help us put together resources adequate enough to extend to all the sectors of our economy in this country.
Mwatata, if we could look at the financing side of things for the fund, how much money is to your disposal? What is being allocated now on an annual basis to the development fund?
Indeed, our budgetary allocation has been declining, and this can be explained because of the economic downturn that was affecting not just Kenya but the entire world. And so we are looking at, in terms of Kenya shillings, which we can convert into the other currencies, about 10 million US dollars. Currently, we are funded to the tune of about 50 million US dollars. Of course, slightly less than what we have been expecting to receive from government. And that is why I'm saying government alone cannot be able to fund or finance this particular initiative. We need everybody from the private sector to come on board to help us marshal and put together as much money as we can to finance youth development and creation of employment.